He carefully got up from the couch, trying not to wake Emily. He stood by the window, looking out at the rising sun, his mind swirling with uncertainty. He was scared for Emily, scared of what his family might do if they found out about her, scared of the consequences of his love for her. He knew he needed to protect her, but he wasn't sure how. As Vlad stood lost in thought, Emily began to stir. She opened her eyes and saw him standing by the window, a look of worry etched across his face. She sat up slowly, pulling the blanket around her shoulders as she watched him, trying to understand what was going through his mind. "Vlad," she called softly, her voice filled with concern. "What's wrong?" Vlad turned to face her, his expression softening as he looked at her. "I'm worried, Emily," he admitted, his voice low and troubled. "My family, they won't accept you. They've always hated humans, and they won't understand our relationship. I'm scared of what they might do if they find out." Emily's heart ached at the fear in his voice. She knew that Vlad came from a powerful family, one that was deeply rooted in the traditions of the vampire world. She had heard stories of their cruelty and ruthlessness, and she understood why he was afraid. But she also knew that she loved him, and she wasn't going to let anything come between them. "I don't care about your family," Emily said firmly, standing up and walking over to him. She placed her hands on his chest, looking up into his eyes with determination. "I love you, Vlad, and I'm not going to let anyone take that away from us. Not your family, not anyone." Vlad's heart swelled with emotion at her words. He had never met anyone like Emily before, someone who was so brave, so strong, and so willing to fight for what they believed in. He knew in that moment that he couldn't lose her, that he couldn't let her go. "There's something I need to tell you," Vlad said, taking a deep breath as he prepared to reveal his secret. "Something you need to know if we're going to be together." Emily nodded, her eyes never leaving his. "You can tell me anything, Vlad. I'm not going anywhere." Vlad took a deep breath, his hands gently gripping her shoulders. "I'm a vampire, Emily," he confessed, his voice barely more than a whisper. "I've lived for centuries, and I've seen and done things that would terrify you. My family, they're all vampires, and they hate humans. My last wife, she was killed by one of my enemies because she was human." Emily's eyes widened at his words, but she didn't pull away. Instead, she wrapped her arms around him, holding him close as she tried to process everything he was telling her. "I had a feeling," she admitted softly. "I've suspected it for a while now, but I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to scare you away." Vlad was stunned by her calm reaction. "You're not afraid?" he asked, his voice filled with disbelief. Emily shook her head. "No, I'm not afraid. I love you, Vlad, and nothing will change that. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to be with you, even if it means becoming like you." Vlad's eyes widened in shock. "Emily, you don't know what you're saying," he said urgently. "Becoming a vampire, it's not something to be taken lightly. It's dangerous, and there's no guarantee you would survive the transformation. My bite, it's stronger than most, and no human has ever survived it." Emily looked up at him, her eyes filled with determination. "I don't care, Vlad. I want to be with you, no matter what. Turn me. Make me like you." Vlad hesitated, fear gripping his heart. He knew that the process of turning a human into a vampire was risky, especially with his unique abilities. But as he looked into Emily's eyes, he saw the resolve there, the unwavering strength that he had come to admire so much. He knew that she wasn't going to back down, that she was willing to face any danger for the chance to be with him. "Are you sure about this?" Vlad asked one last time, his voice shaking with emotion. Emily nodded. "Yes, I'm sure. I trust you, Vlad. I know you won't let anything happen to me." Vlad's heart ached with love and fear as he leaned down, pressing a tender kiss to her lips. "I love you, Emily," he whispered. "I'll do everything I can to protect you." With that, he gently tilted her head to the side, exposing her neck. He could feel her pulse racing under her skin, the warmth of her blood calling to him in a way that he had never felt before. Taking a deep breath, he let his fangs elongate, pressing them against her skin. Emily gasped as she felt the sharpness of his fangs, a shiver running down her spine. She closed her eyes, focusing on the love she felt for him, on the trust she had in him. She knew that this was the only way for them to be together, and she was willing to face whatever came next. Vlad bit down gently, his fangs piercing her skin and sinking into her flesh. Emily let out a low scream as pain shot through her body, her hands clutching at his shoulders. The room seemed to shake with the force of her scream, the walls trembling as if they were going to collapse. But just as quickly as the pain had come, it began to fade, replaced by a strange warmth that spread through her veins. She could feel her heart slowing, her breaths becoming shallow as Vlad drained her blood, replacing it with his own. Vlad was careful, controlling his bite to ensure that he didn't take too much. He could feel Emily's life slipping away, her heart slowing to a crawl, and he knew that he had to stop before it was too late. With a great effort, he pulled back, his fangs retracting as he released her. Emily collapsed against him, her body weak and trembling. Vlad held her close, his eyes filled with worry as he watched her face, waiting for any sign that she would survive the transformation. He knew that this was the most dangerous part, that there was no way to know if she would make it through. For a long moment, there was nothing, no movement, no sound, just the silence of the room as Vlad held his breath, praying for a miracle. And then, slowly, Emily's eyes fluttered